Hey, what's going on, guys? Xavier Caudle here. Today, we're going to be doing a little mock draft. It's my favorite time of the year. All these mock drafts coming out, who's going to pick who, how it's going to go down, who's going to trade down, stuff like that, which quarterback's going to be taken where. I love draft season. I probably watched 50 or 60 mock drafts in the last 3 weeks alone. I feel like every time I get on YouTube, that's all I'm watching. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get in this video here. First pick, definitely Trevor Lawrence. That's a no-brainer. No-brainer. Trevor Lawrence is easily the best prospect we've seen, in my opinion, since Andrew Luck. He is, in my opinion, the best prospect we have seen since Andrew Luck. He is. I don't want to call him can't miss because that's something you shouldn't say about a prospect, but if you think the definition of can't miss, it's Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, I think he's surefire number one. I don't think there's any this or that about who's going to pick him. Even if the Jaguars get Urban Myers, their head coach, I still think they're taking Trevor Lawrence. But number two, Jets. Now I've went back and forth on this decision for this pick. I've thought to myself, I was like, well, they already have Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold hasn't been given a good opportunity. I think they might keep Sam Darnold, but at the same time, if another coach comes in, he's going to want his own pick. He's going to want his own guy. And I think that since they've already fired Gase, they're going to bring another coach in. I think they pick Justin Fields. If I was the Jets coach, I would say just keep Darnold because Darnold is a good prospect. We've seen flashes of him this season where he's just looked like world beater esque. And we've also seen times where he's looked terrible, but it's hard to be consistent around a team that just is made of players that are completely inconsistent. That's the issue. The Jets just don't have any consistency to them. So I think they'll take Justin Fields just because they got a new coach. Sam Darnold's going to wind up on the Patriots or the Colts or the Steelers, somewhere around there. He's going to wind up somewhere, and he's probably going to end up being really good, but hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. You saw that with Ryan Tannehill in Miami. Adam Gase ruined him, and then he went to Tennessee, and he's playing some of the best football I've seen a quarterback play. So just thinking about that, if Darnold goes where and plays somewhere really well, I'm going to start calling it the Gase effect when a coach hurts a quarterback's progression. Number three here, this is kind of a hard one. It's hard to know who they're going to pick here, but because they could use Penei Sewell, but their tackles aren't their issue. I feel like their main issue to me, it has been the interior of their offensive line, because there's been a lot of pressure up the middle, especially when Tua was playing. He was injured. Tua needs help. But still, yeah, they got another pick here at 18. I think that with this pick, they go the best receiver in the draft, in my opinion. That's Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle is an incredible prospect. He ran a 10.8 400 100-meter dash, which is really, really fast if you didn't know, and that was in high school. So now he's probably even faster. He is an incredible athlete. He's an incredible route runner. He gets separation. He's going to be fun to watch. And pairing him with Tua, you get the Alabama connection. That's going to be really fun to watch in Miami. Number 4. Now, this is a no-brainer to me right here. I think this is Patrick Surtain. And why do I say that? Because their secondary has been horrendous this year. And I know they could use other people. I know they could use a linebacker. But they got Deion Jones. They got Grady Jarrett. They don't really need an edge rusher in particular. But they do need an edge rusher, but that's not their biggest need because they have Grady Jarrett. Their secondary has been getting torched this year. Dak Prescott had 500 passing yards on them. Came back and beat them. There's been multiple teams just throw for 300 plus yards on them this season. Their just secondary just doesn't stand up. But if they have A.J. Terrell and Patrick Surtain on each side guarding the boundaries, I feel like that team would be really good. And then you add in a Keanu O'Neal who would come down into the box and lay the boom on people over the middle. Yeah, that secondary is going to be really nice looking. I think this is going to be the best case scenario pick for them. And I think, and I feel like, the Alabama connection yet again, the two corners. I think the Falcons organization would love that. On to the Bengals now. This is a no-brainer pick yet again. Penei Sewell, 100%. We saw what happened to Joe Burrow this year. Joe Burrow deserves better. He shouldn't be on a team that's just letting pressure after pressure after pressure up. I watched that Steelers game, man. It looked like he was running for his life against the Steelers. Not the second time, of course, but the first time. But yeah, the Bengals, they definitely need help on the offensive line. They need help interior and exterior, but Penei Sewell is a can't miss prospect. Yet again, I've said that about, 2 players so far. And I think Patrick Surtain's the third one too. I think these first 5 right here are pretty surefire to work out in the NFL. They're really, really good prospects, in my opinion, from what I've seen of them. And I think adding Penei Sewell to the left tackle for the Bengals, moving Jonah Williams to that right tackle, that's going to secure both edges for Joe Burrow and make him much more comfortable standing in an NFL pocket. Eagles. Now, this is another interesting pick. There's a lot of places they could go here. Linebacker, I know that's their biggest team need, but that's not, I don't want to call it not prevalent, but, of all things you could pick in this position, why would you pick linebacker? Especially when Ja'Marr Chase is on the board, Kyle Pitts, someone like that. And I think this is where Ja'Marr Chase would go. They don't have many offensive threats. They just got rid of Carson Wentz is probably going to be gone. They got a rookie quarterback that's in there balling. He's going to need help next year. That's the reality of it. Jalen Hurts will need help. Their offensive line's not bad. It's actually really good. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce, Brandon Brooks. Jason Peters is probably going to retire. He's not that good anymore. So they could definitely need help at that left tackle, left guard spot. But early in the second round, they'll find somebody. So I don't think they need to sweat on that. I think they pick up a good receiver right here in Ja'Marr Chase and help out their offense that is really, really deprived of big playmakers in the receiving core. Number 7, Lions. Now, it says receiver. I need to look this up, actually. Is Kenny Golladay going to be a free agent? Because if not, then they already have a number 1 receiver, and I think they could wait to the second round to pick up a receiver. But we'll see right quick. Is Kenny Golladay going to sign an extension? No. Kenny Golladay is not signing an extension, so yes, they do need a receiver. Okay. If Kenny Golladay is not signing an extension, Devontae Smith, welcome to the squad. That's really, really surprising. I did not know that. And I was hearing people talk about, they're going to get rid of Matthew Stafford. No, they're not. Matthew Stafford's going nowhere. This Lions organization understands how good Matthew Stafford is. You guys got to recognize that Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback. He has been absolutely shafted by his organization for years. I mean, it just seems like years upon years upon years. So I think Devontae Smith is the pick here. If they could get Golladay back, they'd be really happy, especially pairing Devontae Smith beside Golladay. That'd be a great duo. I don't think it happens, but I think Devontae Smith will be just fine in replacing him. Not exactly the same kind of player, but Devontae Smith, even running that high 4.5, low 4.6 speed, gets a lot of separation just because of how good of a route runner he is. But Panthers now, linebacker, cornerback, offensive tackle, interior offensive lineman, tight end. Now this is an interesting one. I think they go linebacker here. I think that's a no-brainer pick. I think that adding Micah Parsons to the mix and then having Jeremy Chinn, Derek Brown, Gross Matos, Brian Burns, that defense is going to be young, fast, talented, and mean. Matt Rule has been doing his magic over there in Carolina, and adding Micah Parsons to the mix, that's going to be big. That's going to be huge. There's a couple other directions they could go here. They could go with Kyle Pitts. I could see it happening, and actually you're thinking about it a little bit more, that could happen more than Micah Parsons going because of just, their offense. They only have Robbie Anderson. Then they got CMC as well, too. So having Kyle Pitts, Robbie Anderson, CMC, that would be, at 3 different positions, really high-level players. So we could see a Kyle Pitts pick there, too, but Their defense hasn't been as good as they should be. Adding a really good Sam linebacker like Micah Parsons would really help. Number 9. Now, this is another really, really weird pick. Don't think they're going to go quarterback. I think they're going to let Drew Lock rock out for one more year. He was injured to start this year, never got back into a rhythm. Yeah, I don't think Drew Lock got his fair go this year. That's kind of how I look at it right now. He didn't get his fair play. That 7 weeks he missed at the start of the season. No one can come back mid-season that's a young player like that and really thrive. And Drew Lock still did have two or three really good games. It's just the other games were really ugly. He needs to get his consistency down, but he can. He has that talent to do that. He just needs to build his consistency. Now, edge, they don't need to edge Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. Come on, man. They are way more than set at edge. Cornerback, absolutely, I can see them going Caleb Farley. They got Simmons at safety. That would be, having Von Miller, Bradley Chubb coming out the edges and then having Farley, Simmons in the back end making plays. That would be really cool to see. So we could be seeing that happening too as well. I don't think they go Kyle Pitts. I don't think they go Darisaw. They already got Garrett Bowles. They got Graham Glasgow at right guard. So I think this is I think this is Caleb Farley. I think that Caleb Farley goes at 9. Didn't expect to be selecting him at 9, but hey, based on personnel, based on needs, I think that's where he's going to go. Number 10, offensive tackle. Nope. They already have La'el Collins, Tyron Smith. So I don't think they need a tackle. Cornerback, debatable. Yeah, they definitely need help in that secondary. That's for sure. Would they reach on J.C. Horn? That's an even tougher question. It really is, because I think they could find somebody in the second round, because this class does have some decent talent at the cornerback position. But we'll see. I don't think they need an edge player. I don't think this is where Kwity Paye would go. They do need interior defensive line, but they would have to reach all the way down to Tufele, and I don't think they would do that either. So maybe La'el Collins is leaving or something. I haven't heard. I really don't know. I really don't, because it's a tough one. Really, this is a tough one. In reality, I think they trade down based on where they are, based on their team needs in this position, and get J.C. Horn a little bit lower. But I'm going to take J.C. Horn now because of how bad their secondary's been. I'm going to say they reach for J.C. Horn. In reality, like I said, they're going to trade down. They're going to get J.C. Horn. Like pick 15, they're going to probably trade with. Well, no. In this position, they wouldn't trade. If Zach Wilson's already available, I bet they would. I bet they would trade up to take Zach Wilson before New York could, just in case. Yeah, that would be the smart move. They would trade with New England. New England would give them probably extra second. New England gets Zach Wilson at number 10. They get J.C. Horn at 15, and they get another pick somewhere in the second round. So I think that would work out for everyone. I think we would see a trade in this position, but hypothetically, I'm not doing trades right now. So let's just keep it going. New York, yeah, edge. Come on. We know where they're going here. Kwity Paye. If Kyler Fackrell is your number 1 edge rusher from the outside linebacker position, you got issues. That's an issue. Leonard Williams can't do it all himself. You add Kwity Paye to the mix, you're doing numbers. Leonard Williams, Kwity Paye, Dexter Lawrence, that's a really good 3 pass rusher. Like that's going to be really good. That's going to be disruptive. That was already disrupted this year with Tomlinson. I don't think Tomlinson's going to sign back. But adding Kwity Paye to the mix is that much better. This New York defense was already disrupted this year. We saw them play really good against some top-tier teams like the Buccaneers, who have silently made a little bit of a push in the playoffs and are sitting at like fifth, something like that. They get to play Washington first round, so they get a cupcake there. But yeah, the only person above them in their division is the Saints, of course. They've secretly made their way back. I don't really believe in Tampa Bay to win. They're not a dark horse to me because I don't think they've got really any shot, just because of how the chemistry of the team just looks bad. But still, yet, like I'm saying, they have an opportunity. I guess they're just not a dark horse. I don't think they have a chance. But let's move on. San Francisco, I kind of got off track there. Interior offensive line, corner, interior. Yeah, they need interior. They need a center. They need a right guard. They got Laken Tomlinson. They got Mike McGlinchey. They got Trent Williams. They need a center, right guard. And in this position, for some reason, this list hates Wyatt Davis. Not sure why. But we're going to go Wyatt Davis. Yeah, not 100% why this list just entirely hates Wyatt Davis. They have him like 36. That's blasphemous to me. I mean, really, like, Wyatt Davis is good. He's good. He's going to be good. Now, would San Francisco trade down? Because I don't think Wyatt Davis is going to go 12th. Well, it's debatable. It is. Well, no. It's again, would they trade down? Yeah, probably. Because they could get another, at least they could get Creed Humphrey at least somewhere too. Picking number 12, Wyatt Davis, is kind of a hard pick, but it's not at the same time because I think he is worth a top 15 pick. I don't know why he's dropped so much recently. Maybe poor performance in the playoffs, but hey, I think once he puts a little bit, I think he's going to put a little bit more on his frame. He's going to work a little bit more on his footwork, and he's just going to be just fine. But now move on, number 13, interior offensive line, offensive tackle. Yeah, this is Darrisaw, 100%. Darrisaw is on the board at number 13. He's going. The Chargers have one of the worst offensive line units in the league. They got to protect Herbert. Bottom line. Vikings, interior offensive line, interior D. They need interior offensive line and defensive linemen. I watched them get absolutely beat up by my Colts this year. Week 2, they got manhandled. And they didn't get any better the rest of the season. Mike Zimmer just started coaching better out of nowhere somehow. But yeah, I think that this will be. I don't think it's definitely not going to be a cow pit. They need linemen. They need linemen, and I think they take Rashawn Slater from Northwestern, and I think they move Rashawn Slater down to guard instead of playing him at tackle because they got O'Neal and Reef, and I think they're going to put him at right guard beside Garrett Bradbury, and that offensive line's actually going to be a really good unit if they drafted Slater and played him at right guard. Believe it or not, the Vikings offensive line has been, I've seen people call them the second or third worst in the league. That's pretty ridiculous. That's just because they got bad guard play doesn't make them that bad. I understand their guard play's been horrendous, but it's not been like they don't have the second or third worst offensive line in the league. Trust me, I've seen a lot of offensive line play. If you look at my channel, you know I've watched a lot of linemen this year. The Vikings nowhere near have this second or third worst offensive line in this league. Moving on here, number 15, no brainer, Zach Wilson. Send him over. If Zach Wilson fell to the 15th spot and somehow, in reality, the Broncos might take a chance. The Giants might take a chance. Now, this is what I was saying, though. The Cowboys, they're not going to get the best corner. They're not going to get Surtain. J.C. Horn, do they want to reach for J.C. Horn? Not really. So what do? They trade. They trade with the Patriots. Give the Patriots a 10th pick. The Patriots get Zach Wilson there. Like I was saying, Zach Wilson's a beast. He's a good good quarterback. He has the best pocket awareness in the whole draft, even better than Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion. He knows where pressure's coming from. That tells me he knows his personnel. He knows his matchups. It also tells me he watches the moves of the defensive line, so he knows how they're going to attack the lineman, how he can manipulate the pocket in that way. So I like Zach Wilson. I like how he thinks. I like what I've seen on film of him. So I think Zach Wilson on the Patriots. I think the league would be on notice. That's all I got to say. I hope the Patriots don't get a hold of Zach Wilson, but if they do, the league's going to be on notice. On to the Cards now. Now this is another tricky spot. They definitely could use an interior offensive lineman. They could use a corner, but I think in all reality, they need an edge player. They really need a guy that's going to rush the passer. Now, Gregory Rousseau could be that guy as well. I think they need a running back too. And thinking about it, this could be where ETN goes. I know this is a little early, and they might be reaching a little bit on him. But I don't like Kenyon Drake. I don't know what about it, Kenyon Drake, that I don't like. It's just, as good as people advertise him to be, he just never pops off the field like that to me. When I watch him on film, he never looks like that on film. And putting ETN, who's got that 4.3 blazing speed, beside Kyler Murray, who runs that low 4.4, and then you got D-Hop, that's going to be a really explosive offense. And, I mean, their coaches already had them a lot better than their personnel will bring you, or their win-loss has been a lot better this year than I called them to be 8-8, but they looked better. I don't know how else to put this. I'm kind of going in circles. They looked better than they actually are. Their personnel isn't that good. They got DJ Humphries, but, the interior of their offensive line is not that good. They're not going to reach on a lineman. I feel like they would rather reach on a running back than they would a lineman. So I think this is where he goes. But now we're moving on to the Raiders. And if Gregory Rousseau is available for the Raiders, they would be one happy team. I think absolutely Gregory Rousseau goes. The Raiders' pass rush has been absolutely abysmal. Max Crosby is not as good as people make him out to be. I don't know how much I have to say that, because I've had people come at me about Max Crosby before, like I've never seen, dude. Like it was like Max Crosby is saved them from dying one time. Dove and pushed them out of the way of a bus or something. Like, he's not that guy, man. I think Klein or Clean, whatever his name is, Farrell, the other dude that's across from him that plays the left end, I think he's a lot better. I really do think he's a lot better than Max is. And I think if they draft Rousseau, I think Max is on the bench. Number 18, easy pickings, Jalen Mayfield. Come on over, bud. Austin Jackson, bust. They're going to draft tackle. They're going to take Jalen Mayfield. And I think Mayfield would be well worth an 18th pick. I think that your quarterback who had hip surgery and sat out for a year and a half would be very happy to see a first-round offensive line pick. And I think Jalen Mayfield would elevate this offensive line unit. Now, on to Washington. Trey Lance, no-brainer. No-brainer. They need a quarterback. Have to have a quarterback. And if they don't get a quarterback, I think, and Trey Lance is on the board, I think the Washington fan base their heads would just explode. But yeah. Next one, Bears, offensive tackle, interior offensive line. They need, their offensive line's been absolutely awful this year. Something tells me they would rather have an interior offensive line over tackle, because their tackles have been kind of injured this year. That's been the issue. And I think Vera Tucker out of USC, I think this is where he would go. I don't think he's a better prospect than Wyatt Davis, but I think he's pretty close. And I think that if the Bears got him at 20, I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit. 21. Nah, no-brainer. Nah, I say no-brainer a lot. This is a no-brainer. Kyle Pitts, I've let him fall to 21. That's really disrespectful. I love Kyle Pitts. I love him, but I feel like tight end is just not something that is very high on people's boards. And whenever you're drafting personnel, in my opinion, you don't go after a tight end until the second round, especially if you're a bad team, and bad teams are going to draft first. But a team like the Jags, they already have a good offensive line, so they have Trevor protected. They got D.D. Westbrook. They need more playmakers offensively. And Kyle Pitts is like Darren Waller Jr. He's 6'6", 250, 260 pounds, huge. Mismatch, he's way faster than linebackers. He's way too big. He'll body a corner, go up and catch a ball. Kyle Pitts is putting him beside Trevor Lawrence, that's going to be scary. And then, Gruden's going to be their offensive coordinator. It's going to be interesting to see this Jag squad, especially if Urban Meyer comes out of retirement to coach them. That would be crazy. I mean, Jacksonville would go from being the worst team in the league to one of the best, probably, maybe even contending for the division with the Colts and the Titans. It would be really incredible their turnaround they would have. Going to be interesting to see. I hope that Kyle Pitts does not fall to them because I don't want to have to play against Trevor Lawrence and Kyle Pitts and Westbrook. But hey, according to the way I'm drafting it right now, it's definitely plausible. Colts. Yeah, there's a couple of ways we could go with this. It's either going to be cornerback for sure. We're not going to go quarterback. We'll find someone. Worst case scenario, we re-sign Phillip Rivers. But that's fine with me. I mean, hey, if we got to rock out Phillip Rivers till we can get another quarterback, that's fine with me. Receiver, I don't think we're going to take Bateman here. It says offensive tackle. Definitely could use a tackle. Definitely could use a tackle. But I think if a decent corner's up here whenever we're up here, like if somehow J.C. Horn made it through, I don't think we'll take Eric Stokes. I don't think that. I don't think we take Eric Stokes. I think we'd wait to the second round and pick a corner before we take Eric Stokes 22nd. But in this position, we could use a linebacker. We could definitely use a defensive line edge rusher. So we could either go Osai, in my opinion. We could go Eichenberg. And we could go Zaven Collins. Now, all three I would be completely fine with. I'm going to be honest with you as a Colts fan. All three I'd be completely fine with. But seeing how bad our depth of our offensive line is, Liam Eichenberg is just a really, I keep saying no-brainer. It's kind of a no-brainer. Liam Eichenberg is good. He is good. He is a good football player. He is solid. We could throw him in there. He'd be just fine. Putting him beside Quentin Nelson, that's that Notre Dame connection. It'd be really cool. It'd be two really great Notre Dame offensive linemen playing left guard, left tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. Hey, I'd be happy. Browns, edge, corner, interior defensive lineman. I think this is a linebacker pick. They got Sheldon Day. They got a couple decent interior defensive linemen. Now, I mean depth-wise, yeah. They could use a corner too, but I don't think they reach on Eric Stokes yet again. Yeah, I think this is probably where Jeremiah Owusu goes, and he's only fell because of personnel. I know how good this guy is. I don't even try to pronounce his last name. Koramoah. I've never heard it on TV pronounced, but I know he is good. I know he's good. I've seen a little film on him. Just on Twitter going through, I've seen like 3 or 4 minutes of him reading, getting inside the sideline. He's a good prospect. He really is. And the Browns could definitely use a linebacker. Now we're going to get to the Titans. No brainer. Their edge, their pass rush has been god awful this year. Horrible. It's like bottom 4 in the league. Any Titans fan will tell you this. That's been their Achilles heel. They can't rush the passer. So any team that can pass the ball is really, they haven't struggled. Other than the Bills earlier in the season, but I think that was that fluke game. You know how the Packers got beat earlier by the Bucks. Every team has a game like that, and I think that was it. But, for the rest of the season, they just can't get pressure on a quarterback. That's the bottom line. They get no pressure on quarterbacks, and that's going to be an issue, especially come time for playoffs. If they can't pressure Lamar Jackson this weekend, I don't know what they're going to do. So I think definitely if they lose this game, they're definitely going to pick up an edge rusher. That's just a no-brainer yet again. On to the Bucks. Now, the Bucks definitely don't need Bateman. I know they can't keep that 3 receiver group. I don't know how many they're going to be able to keep this offseason. They don't need linebackers. I feel like they really don't need edge either. They got all kinds of edge players, so I don't think that's what they're going to get. They got Vita Vea. They don't need interior defensive line, really. I don't know where they go with this pick. Maybe they do go receiver because they can't keep that really good 3 together. So this might be the most put together team in the league. Them and the Colts. I know I'm a Colts fan, but the Colts really don't have many gaps. This Buccaneers team don't have many gaps. It's kind of scary how like their fourth need is running back. They have two really good running backs. So I don't know. I don't know. I think they go Bateman just because they know they're going to lose one of their receivers. Um, and that would be like best possible scenario. They know they're going to lose one of their receivers. They can't really help it. But getting Bateman back would just it'd take a little bit off of that. Number 26. This is a Creed Humphrey. The interior of this offensive line for the Baltimore is horrendous. No Marshall Yanda, really taking a toll. I think they pick up a good player in Creed Humphrey, and they would be really happy. I think Creed Humphrey would really bolster this Baltimore offensive line. They'd have Orlando Brown next year. They'd have their other good tackle back. And then, maybe in the second round they pick up another interior. Maybe they get Trey Smith in the second. They luck up. He falls to them. I don't see that happening. I think Trey Smith will go early in the second. But still yet, if they could get Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith during this draft, I think they would lose their marbles. Jets. This is another interesting. I think this is where Eric Stokes would go, though. I think this is Eric Stokes' pick. They need a corner. You can't have Pierre Desir as your number one corner and expect to win. I think they pick up Eric Stokes here. In the second round, they're probably going to draft the offensive line. That would be my guess. But yeah, 27. Pierre Desir cannot be your number one corner. You got to get Stokes in this position if he's available. Put him beside Desir, and hopefully you don't get bombed all season. Offensive tackle. Yeah, no brainer. Samuel Cosme. They need offensive tackle. Their tackle play has been god awful this year. The interior, they got Pouncey, who's old now. He got voted to the Pro Bowl. He's not that good, but they got DeCastro at right guard, who is that good. He is an all-pro level player. They could just use a tackle. They could use Cosme. You put him at left tackle or right, depending on wherever you want him. I know at left tackle they got that big dude, 6'8", 320. He's huge. Alejandro. What is his name? What's his first name? Don't remember his first name. Last name's Alejandro. Huge dude. I think the Steelers would be really happy to get Cosme at 28. That would bolster their offensive line. Big issue they've had this year. Keeping Big Ben clean if he comes back for another year. All right, now we're on to 29. This is a weird spot because you don't know if Drew Brees is coming back. It's more than likely this is Drew Brees last year. Just with the rib injury, that's rough, especially at this age for him. That's rough. I would hope this is not Drew Brees last year just because I love Drew Brees. I like watching him play. Even though he took a championship from my Colts in 2008, I like Drew Brees. He's a great player. He really is truly a legendary player. He's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks to ever play, in my opinion. He's up there. So whenever, if they draft quarterback here, I'll be really surprised because I think he will. He is a fighter. You know what I'm saying? He wants to come back for another year. It's just, will his health let him? We don't know. But I would err on the side of him coming back. After I thought about it for a second, I really had to. I can't say Drew Brees is just going to retire like that. He wants to keep playing. Right here, I think they go linebacker. I think they put Zaven Collins beside Demario Davis. And they're going to have, of course, that defensive line. They got a feasting defensive line. Just a beast. That unit would be really solid. Really, really solid to pick up Zaven Collins. Like I said, him and Demario Davis would be wreaking havoc. Them are two big playmaking. Zaven Collins might be the biggest playmaking linebacker in this draft. Putting him beside Demario Davis, who's one of the biggest playmaking linebackers in the league. That's going to be fun to watch. But now we're going to move on to Buffalo, cornerback, linebacker, edge, offensive tackle. Yeah, I could see this being a tackle pick. I could see this is where Reduns goes. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think they need an edge. I feel like they got enough edge rushers. They got a few guys on the interior that can rush. Well, they got one guy for sure that can rush, Ed Oliver. But he just hasn't progressed like I've wanted him to, though. That's a big issue with him. This is a weird weird pick. I mean, they got a good. I don't think they need a corner, do they? Are they losing Tre'Davious White or something? Like, what's going on here? Um, yeah, this is an interesting pick. I think they would go Reduns just to bolster that right tackle. They already have a. They just signed a 4 or 5 year deal with their current left tackle, so he's not going anywhere, and he's really talented as well. I have a film analysis on him if you want to check that out on the channel, you know. But yeah, I think he's really good. I think they pick up Reduns here. They bolster the offensive line, keep Josh Allen clean, keep him healthy. Don't let the Golden Goose get injured, you know. Wish my Colts had done that with Andrew Luck, but you know, it's whatever. Let's move on to Green Bay here. Cornerback, receiver, offensive tackle, linebacker. Yeah, again, cornerback, I thought they had 2 good ones. Maybe they need a slot. I still don't think they pick a corner in this position. They don't need a running back for sure, even though as much I'd like to give, as much as I'd love for Najee Harris to go in the first round, because I think Najee Harris is undoubtedly the best running back in this class. Well, when pure running back, that is. Etienne's probably the most versatile, that is. But, yeah. Tough pick. I think they would go receiver. I do. I think they would go receiver in this position. And I think that would be Olave. I think Olave is better than Terrence Marshall and Tony, whatever, Kadarius. I think both of them guys are really, really good prospects, but I think Olave is just horribly slept on. Like, I feel like no team gives Olave any respect, or no one talks about Olave, but he is like a really close comparison to Devontae Smith, but he's faster. Like, so I don't know what the hate for Olave is. Obviously, I didn't pick him earlier because he doesn't have the same skill set as Devontae Smith, but he's still a really good prospect, and I think him going in the first round isn't really unheard of. But number 32 here, last pick. Who are we going to pick here? It says they need a receiver. I think offensive line. I think interior offensive line all day. And that would be Josh Myers. Now, I want to go Trey Smith. Where are you, Trey Smith? Like, they have Trey Smith way down here, man. Where is he? Yeah, 41. That's pretty low. I feel like Trey Smith should be further up here. But whatever. You know, they could also go Nick Bolton here. And thinking about it, nah, they got to go. They don't have any interior help on their offensive line. It's actually really bad. Yeah, I'm going to go, if I can find him again, Josh Myers. And that's going to cap it off. So, yeah, these are my picks, guys. Let me know what you all think if I pick somebody incorrectly for your team. You know, I've seen every single team in the NFL on film, 3 or 4 times. I've legitimately sat down and watched them play 3 or 4 times. So I have a good idea of where they struggle. It's just I don't know names. I don't know personnel names. But I've seen scheme. I've seen team play. I've seen stuff like that. So I really pick based on how I've seen these teams play. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I could have picked someone else. Let me know what you guys think about these prospects I picked. Another thing, let me know what you guys think about Wyatt Davis. Why is Wyatt Davis hated right now? What did Wyatt Davis do wrong? I need to know, because I love Wyatt Davis. What I saw from him earlier in the season, like, it wasn't perfection, but man, it screamed top 15 interior offensive line pick. He looked really, really good. So tell me what happened to him. Tell me, did he get dominated one game? Did something go wrong? Just let me know. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. If you're still here, you're still listening, appreciate you being here. If you like the content, drop a like, drop a subscribe. Until next time, guys, peace.